Hope you guys are doing great. Good afternoon. Just glad to be here. Obviously, last week of spring football, ready to get going. Obviously, our guys have been doing a really good job this past 3 or 4 weeks of just working hard and trying to be on the same page and just getting better every single day. Any questions?
J.O. was in here last week, mentioned how much more comfortable he's feeling going into year two. Was that something that you saw for him kind of growing throughout last season that's kind of carried over into this year? And then also having those trio of guys who are also experienced?
Absolutely. He is one of those guys who picks up things pretty easy. Like you said, he did do it. You could tell as the year was going last year, he was getting very comfortable with our system and very comfortable with playing together with the guys here at South Carolina. And obviously going into his offseason, he takes every single day as like if it's he soaks in all the information and does a really good job of just taking in all the information from Coach Money, myself, and just doing a really good job big picture wise on the defense. But it is a good group. Those guys are very experienced. They understand exactly what we're about to say as coaches in regards of our system, but that's really cool to have that in your room.
Is there anything specifically that you want to see in the last scrimmage from your defense that maybe you didn't see or want accentuated?
Yes, to me right now it's just playing on the same page. The communication piece, I think our efforts there, execution has been there. There's obviously some mistakes out there on the field. No one's perfect. We're striving for that kind of stuff. But I think our guys are getting better every day in regards of just understanding the defense with all the new people. The old guys trying to teach the way we play and just the communication piece of it. I think that's always the barrier that you go through when you have this many guys and the way we structure practice this year. We have to do it all on basically 2 days a week. And I think our guys are getting better at it, but that's something we want to continue doing.
And just to follow up on that, are y'all kind of at the normal stage in late spring practice from the communication standpoint, or do you feel like that is a area where they're behind more so than maybe years past?
I would say just when you want to compare it to certain things, obviously if you could go back a little bit, I feel like we was a little bit more experienced in regards of guys been in the system. Like this will be the linebackers be this second and third year in the system, which they're pretty comfortable. The safeties, most of theirs, Peyton's are very comfortable. Up front is where the communication kind of, is kind of new. Kind of not saying we're behind. They're definitely striving to meet the standards and expectations. But I do believe that they're, a little behind from the guys who've been here 3 and 4 years, if that makes sense, just naturally, but not because of talent or work or teaching or anything like that. But that's something I'm excited for the next 2 weeks after spring ball. That's why we're trying to change our schedule a little bit to give us 2 more weeks to kind of clean up instead of just going spring game, go home, see you in June. But now we get a chance to clean up and kind of sharpen some more tools right before we leave.
You mentioned Paige Williams. What do you feel like is the next step for him?
Well, I feel like last year he kind of silently had a really solid season with forced fumbles and got his hands on some footballs and tackling. Just to me, just continue to become a playmaker, just really step up the leadership part. It's the kind of the next man, the nex safety in line kind of attitude. We've had some really good safeties come through here since we've been here. I think it's his time, and he is doing a great job of leading it. He's going for the football every single day. He getting nice, clean punch outs, and punch out opportunities are more important than sometimes just the actual punch out because you want to. I mean, it's on your mind and trying to get the football. He's teaching the young guys. He's teaching the newer guys or the younger players that are in our defense, the new and the young guys, like Currents and Kendall Daniels and all those guys. He's doing a really good job of just teaching them the game along with Hatfield and Boosie. And it's cool watching that. If I see a mistake, sometimes I'll look at Peyton and say, I can fix it, but I would love if you fix that for me, and just to kind of encourage that kind of stuff.
Kind of talking about the scrimmage, we've been able to talk to some of the defensive players since the most recent one, and they said that tempo was something that stood out to them about the new offense. I guess what was your perspective on the new tempo, and how does going against that maybe help you guys get more prepared?
Yeah, great question, Pat. For us, it's very helpful. It kind of puts you in the game mode really fast as far as a play caller and also just a mode of operation on defense. You can't lollygag around. You got to be smart with your substitutions. Your signaler guys got to be sharp, got to be on point. Our guys got to get their eyes to the sideline. They can't spend 5 seconds talking to each other about if this and if that, and no, turn your around and let's go. So that puts us really in a good mind of just a good mode of play, getting us ready for the fall. But it's definitely a challenge. It definitely has its strengths and weaknesses on both sides for both units. But I think our offensive coordinator does a really good job. He's very experienced at it, so he knows when to use it, when not to use it.
Kind of back to that safety spot, you mentioned earlier in the spring that Kendall Daniels was the guy that needed to take that next step. Is that something you've seen from him this spring?
Absolutely. He's working very hard. It's one of those things where you think it's just going to happen. And I think as a young safety like himself, he learned, okay, every single day we're going to install new calls. We're going to install new checks. It's going to be a different formation that our offense presents that we didn't show you during the installation. So those are kind of things that make you grow as a young safety. Peyton has seen them. David has seen them. But Kendall may not have seen this. Oh, this is a different formation. This is a different move by the tight end that I haven't seen. So he's growing every day, I promise. So, but you have to get those reps, those repetitions on the field to see those looks and get very familiar with those releases and formations and stuff by offenses.
Through these spring practices and scrimmages, what stood out about the way the defensive tackle room has progressed?
The good thing about that room is those guys, they work together. They work very hard. Coach Robinson and Coach Jay Will have done a really good job of just developing, coaching, teaching. But I really like how, it's different types of – all of them are big, which I like that part. They all can move. We have, from 290 to 350, and they all bring something different to the game. I think that's been my favorite part. There's some pass rushers in that room. There's some run stoppers. There's some combo guys, some guys that are pluggers, guys that can plug and make plays. So it's kind of like, we kind of get to pick a little bit. And I have to do a really good job as a coach, and then Coach Robinson working with him of who's in the game. That's going to depend on kind of the style of play that we play up front. If we got 345 pounds out there, we'll probably play more of a plug and, kind of defense. So I think it's really, really good to have those options. But they're doing a really good job of working hard, and they're learning the playbook very well.
Yeah, to follow up on that, are the options a little bit different, more varied this year with those different kind of personnel at the tackle spot?
Yes. If you can recall back to 2024, we had what we call basically pass rush guys, 3 technique type bodies, which was T.J. Tonka, that even Devontae Mouth at the time. Then we had more inside guys like Nick Barrett, Markel, and Jules, kind of pluggers. But I would say last year, I feel like we had just more Nick Barrett, Markel, and I'm missing one, who's the other guy that played a lot. But those all 3 were plugger type guys. But this year, I feel like we have a little bit of both. So I think that's cool. And then we back to kind of what we had in 24 in regards to having a couple of each one, which I think is awesome. We call them 3 techniques and noses. So nose bodies are 3 tech bodies.
Kind of following up on my last question, you mentioned that the tempo has made y'all rush communication when you're going against the offense a little bit. Do you think that kind of plays into what you said about just where everybody's at communication-wise, and you want to see that progress a little more?
It definitely plays a role. Starting with the main thing, just getting into it. We're trying not to rush into it. That kind of word kind of gives some anxiety a little bit, but we kind of want to be very urgent and make sure we're on point, we're on our P's and Q's with it. But I would say it really does help because it makes, it starts with the nickel. Like, where's the nickel line? Or is he going to be to the boundary or to the field? So we don't have a lot of time to kind of assess that as a back seven, and even the front needs to know as well. So that's the main thing. It helped us speed up that communication in regards of our passing strength and where our nickel's going to go at. So it kind of sets the defense. But it's been good, though. It really makes you be honest with what you're doing. You can't really try and be too tricky because they can end up snapping the ball. It kind of happened on Saturday.
Jamil Walker helped out last year in Travion's absence. Is he still working with that group at all, or is he kind of back doing his other thing?
He's back doing his other thing. I'm also checking on his son too. I'm just kidding. He's back doing his thing in the weight room with Coach Day. But he's definitely nearby. We like him on the defensive side. Brings a little bit of darkness to what we got going on, but which we like that. But he's great. He's a great resource to have in regards of just the mental state of our players and just a physical mindset. But it's great to have him somewhat on our side. We don't want to be picking and choosing right now. He's got to be very neutral, but he has his son over there, so I think we got Jamil. Appreciate it. Take care.